Yup, it actually happened. Another Ghost in the Shell video game. This one is a free-to-play, first-person team shooter. Quite a bit different than the Ghost in the Shell games we had in the past, but let's just go ahead and take a look at this before we start judging it just on its merits. So as I said before, this is a class-based shooter. You can choose from the main members of Public Security Section 9, including Saito, Togasa, Modoko, Bato, Ishikawa, Paz, and Boma.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
Each of these people have their own special abilities, as you saw when I was cycling through them, but they each have access to all the weapons in the game, so there's no restrictions there. So let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay right now and see what it looks like when you go into your first match. So yeah, pretty cool way to enter a fight. The dive sequence, which is 100% skippable in case you don't actually like it. I think it's actually pretty cool. It really makes you feel like you're in the Ghost in the Shell universe, because that's like the thing they use in the briefing. But anyway, as cool as that is, this game seems to be a little bit unsure of what it wants to be. You'll see this as we go on through the review, but that was a really nice Ghost in the Shell sequence, and then you spawn in with some guns that you'll never actually really see in Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, the pistol, that's the signature pistol used by Section 9, but what are these other guns? We got an M4, we got a sniper rifle, we got a MP5 or something. And the more you play, the more you can feel the generic FPS side start to come out. As you can see here on that little wall, there's a little Laughing Man symbol. That's pretty cool, but I mean, what about what's happening on screen right now has anything to do with the Ghost in the Shell? Really, just think about it. And then these little arm blade things, as cool as they are, they actually have nothing to do with Ghost in the Shell. I mean, I'm not just trying to complain about cool stuff they added in, I'm just saying it just takes away from the overall feel of the game. If you want to make a Ghost in the Shell game, you have to make it feel like Ghost in the Shell, not just sprinkling in some Ghost in the Shell bits here and there. Now, if at the end of the day the game was just a simple FPS with just Ghost in the Shell sprinkled in, then boom, my review will be done. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. It's a lot more complicated than that. I mean, just look at the map I'm playing on right now. This is a lot more of what I would consider a Ghost in the Shell map. You got some nice architecture going on, you got some Japanese writing on the walls, some kanji, and like just the posters. The entire thing is actually littered with nice cyberpunk-esque stuff. Unfortunately, the shader's not great. It still looks shaded like a generic FPS, but I mean, just look at the area. It looks really nice. Also, the main objective here is to hack terminals, and what happens when you hack terminals? Tachikomas actually come out. See, this is a lot more Ghost in the Shell. This is more like what I'm talking about. Sure, this is only one game mode, but it's like, why couldn't they actually take this amount of care and like love for the series and put this in the rest of the game? It makes it really kind of confusing at points where you can go from like full-on Ghost in the Shell to generic shooter to good imitation of Ghost in the Shell. It's just kind of all over the place at parts. Alright, since we're about 3 minutes in, let's go ahead and start talking about gameplay now. Gameplay is interesting to say the least. It's not bad, it's not boring, it's not generic, but it's a bit confusing. Not in the fact that I don't understand how to play, but in some of their gameplay choices, I'd say. For example, you don't actually recover or regenerate HP at all. There are no health pickups. There's no automatic regenerating health. But in most game modes there is respawning. So if you're trying to hold an objective, for instance, and you take out like 6 guys, you may take 40 damage, you may take 60 damage. Once they come back 5 seconds later, they have full health, you don't. So that's why most games that would have, you know, tactical shooting or, you know, precision shooting would normally either have one or the other, recovering health or you don't regenerate on rounds. So another interesting thing is these guns actually have quite a bit of kick to them, quite a bit of recoil. So it's like, okay, you want to make a precision shooting game, that's fine. But precision shooting plus low health and no regenerating health, that makes it quite a bit hard to take multiple people out and hold objectives. Well, okay, you know, it just takes skill, right? It just takes skill. You gotta learn the weapons, you gotta conserve your health and stuff. That sounds great. Again, I'm perfectly fine with that. Unfortunately, you gotta remember this is a free-to-play game. So that means people who think their gun's not accurate enough can just add on extra accuracy. People who think the gun's not, you know, doesn't shoot fast enough or doesn't, I don't know, zoom in enough can just get more enhancements for their guns. Even if they're not paying real money to do that, they're actually changing the stats of the weapon. And for most games that actually have precision shooting, like just Counter-Strike an example, heavy recoil, precision shooting, you gotta conserve your health. That game doesn't let you add like plus 10 accuracy to your P90, because why that would kind of unbalance the game. Okay, so for people who may not have played Counter-Strike or whatever, that example may have been a little bit vague. What I was basically trying to say was, I feel like this game is trying to be two different first-person shooter games. I feel like it's trying to be the Call of Duty style, run around, load out your gun with crazy attachments, and shoot everyone in sight. Death's a momentary inconvenience. Recover back in a couple seconds, and you're back in a fight. Unfortunately, I feel like it's also trying to be like Battlefield or Counter-Strike, where your guns recoil a lot, you gotta compensate for that. There's people coming, you gotta conserve your health a little bit, even though Battlefield does have regenerating health, it's much slower. And those two types of gameplay styles don't actually go very well together. For examples, like, you can't have a skill-based shooter game that has all this crazy attachments and stuff, because then it's not skill anymore. It's who has the better attachments. And that's fine in arena shooter games like Call of Duty, because, you know, the whole point of the game is to run around with crazy attachments. It's not about precision shooting to a point. It's more about, you know, just getting there and getting the job done. While the game type it's trying to also be is trying to be a game where you use the guns to your advantage, you gotta work to its strengths, but there's no point to actually doing the work if you can just get an attachment for it. Which again feeds back into the attachment system. In this game, there are quite a few attachments you can put on your gun, and while I absolutely love gun customization in games, in free-to-play games it usually ends up being just a money-grabbing tactic, where basically you say, oh hey look, you can make your gun more accurate, do more damage, be like the best it can be, for only like $500 real or whatever. This game, luckily, quite a bit of the attachments are actually only unlocked through level progression, as in you actually have to level up. You can't just buy them outright. Although there are actually some you can buy outright, it's not like the entire majority of them. So that's actually pretty nice for balancing reasons. Also, one really great thing is, at the point of the time right now, there is no gold currency. A currency where in games like Blacklight Retribution, where the only way to get it would be to pretty much pay for it outright with real cash. In game so far, the only currency they have is GP, where you can use it from just winning your games to actually buy these special attachments. So there is no premium currency where it takes you 1,000,000 years to earn a single one and you need 100 to unlock the special attachments. So far there is none. As you notice by looking at the bottom of the right of the screen, there's exactly enough space for one more currency type, but for early access there is no premium gold or whatever special currency at this time. So is this game pay to win? I would say no. Even if you bought this very special, more expensive packages for this game like I did, you'll only get some just cosmetic items for your gun. You get a little bit of cash, sure, you do get some CP or GP or whatever it is, but you get as much as you normally get from just like 2 hours of play, maybe. And you probably get more if you're good, because I'm actually bad at this game. The things you get are just Tachikoma skins for your guns, pretty much, so it's not anything that you absolutely need. I know some people out there actually hate Tachikoma, so you'll be glad you didn't pay extra for the version of the game. This will be free to play, but as for the gameplay, I find this game actually kind of fun. I like the fact that you can customize your own guns. I like the fact that the guns have recoil, so it does take some actual practice. You can't just spray with an assault rifle and kill someone a mile away. I like that. I think the game is pretty fun. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think that most people should buy the early access. I think you should just wait and see how it goes. Unless you're really, really, really interested in Ghost in the Shell so much you're going to buy a game that only contains like small amounts of Ghost in the Shell and is kind of all over the place, then I just say kind of wait. I mean, it is fun, but it's not something I'm going to give up Counter-Strike or Insurgency for. I play free-to-play shooters. That's what I do. I play them from time to time, and this will just be one that I play. Would I recommend this to someone who says they like Ghost in the Shell and like Call of Duty but don't like free-to-play shooters? No, this is not going to change your mind on free-to-play shooters. Is it a good free-to-play shooter? I'd say yes. It's less pay-to-win than many other games. But is it better than non-free-to-play shooters? I'd have to say no. If you want a real Ghost in the Shell shooting experience, I'd say play Neo Tokyo. Has a less player count, but it's a lot more Ghost in the Shell inspired. There's less weirdness. There's less, there's no paying. You can't buy anything. So I say check that out if you want something a lot close to Ghost in the Shell. But this does offer a pretty interesting shooting experience. It's not like every single other free-to-play game out there, which is pretty important, because otherwise it would just be a Ghost in the Shell skin on like Blacklight or Warframe or whatever, but it's not. It's its own thing, but its own thing is not great. So while it's not generic, congrats on that, thumbs up, you're not a generic free-to-play FPS, you didn't really stick to any of your ideas. You didn't want it to be 100% Ghost in the Shell, you didn't want it to be 100% generic, you didn't want it to be 100% Call of Duty style, you didn't want to be 100% like Counter-Strike style or Battlefield or whatever. So we kind of got this mishmash. And the gun selection, I mean, you don't even have the Mateba. Come on, you can go buy with your currency. You can buy a Smith & Wesson revolver, but you can't buy a Tokusatsu Mateba. Why am I even playing this game? I saw it in screenshots and know it's going to be added. And yes, that was a joke, but I'd say wait until the actual free-to-play comes out. You won't have to spend a penny on it then, and you might be able to have some of these issues fixed. So alright, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. That's really all I have to say for this. Overall, or like I said before, I suggest this only if you're a diehard Ghost in the Shell fan and you like free-to-play games. And you like free-to-play first-person shooters. Because yes, this is a good first-person free-to-play game. It's not a great first-person shooter overall, I'd have to say. It does have some issues, but it is pretty fun in my opinion. Alright, so yeah, I'll see you guys later, and bye.